All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64 on my way home. The Rapture. The Rapture is not going to happen on the full moon. Not going to happen. I say that tongue in cheek because every Rapture high watch day that I've called over the last 5 years didn't happen. So I'm going to say it can't happen. I'm going to try something new. Who knows? Maybe it will happen on the full moon. I sit usually and study and wait for the Holy Spirit to send me something new and fresh, some new detail that I catch, like the 10 days and all that. And I bring a video out as a high watch day. I've never once said that it's definitely going to happen 100 billion% on a day. That's, in my opinion, a bit reckless. Um, but I've always called out for the last 5 years a date that numerically lines up. My brain doesn't operate like normal people. I take a situation and I streamline it. That's what I do. Um, it's a little OCD, a little. I've never been to a doctor to be diagnosed, but I organize things. I make them run efficiently, no matter what I do. I can tear an engine completely apart, put it on the driveway in a million pieces, and mentally recall how to put it back together and rebuild it. That's how my brain functions. So when I build timelines, things have to make sense. Dogmatic means that I would be hard headed enough to say that we're not going to go home on a full moon. I'm not that hard headed. I will go home. My first questions will be, Lord, what did the full moon have to play in this whatsoever? I looked at the Bible. Full moon or moon is Yarich or Chodesh, not Chodesh, or Saline, Yarich or Saline. And each and every single time you translated it in the Bible, in the original language, you use the word Yarich and Saline when you were talking about the actual moon. And when you were talking about the first of the month, you were talking about Chodesh. And so, and again, it just has to make sense. So I'm stating that this rapture is not going to happen on the full moon, although I hope it does. Maybe turning it around like that will make it happen. I'm not that important. So let's go through the pictures of what I have, and I want to show you uh, what we've got going on. And listen, this is. There are times as we've gone through this where the dates line up. They fall in sync. They line right up. They're perfect, and it's a perfect scenario for a rapture. And what I'm seeing here as of late, or at least with me anyway, is the little kids are having dreams and they're seeing this stuff. This is off the charts. I was listening to Global Rapture Watchers, and I guess over there you can send dreams to him. You have End Times Dreams of Vision, same thing. And then you have, sorry, you have Lisa Boyce over at Watchwoman 65. Guess she's a year younger than me, and she's just a kid. And they go into the news and they look at the world events, and something tells me, and when you read in Luke, and I'm going to read that to you here in a minute, when you read in Luke about the rapture, when is it going to happen? It's crystal clear that everything has happened so far except for the waves and the seas roaring. And we have a hard time defining that, or at least I do. Waves and seas could be related to people, and people, when will they roar? When will they all start screaming? What will cause, not you, you're mostly, the people here are the bride of Christ. Most of the people that come into my type of channel, there's a very minute percentage. that aren't, but for the most part, it's the bride. So I make these videos in the anticipation and hope that when we're gone, internet comes back up and tribulation saints can find them. But what will drive these people to their knees? What will do it? What will it take? As much warning as we've done over the years, what's it going to take to make you do the simplest thing and take that cup and drink from it? Jesus is offering you a cup of salvation. What's it going to, and you have free will. You don't have to take that cup. He's never going to force you. He's never, he has predestinated us to he knows when you're going to accept him. And so, therefore, you would, if you're not a part of the bride and leaving before the tribulation, you would become instantly a tribulation saint. But what's it going to take for you to go to your knees and do the simplest of prayers and ask? You don't have to do anything else. That's it. That's all you have to do. You'll want to do something else if you're truly saved, but that's it. That's all you have to do. It's the simplest of things in the whole universe. And so, what would cause somebody to do that? I have read where atheists, lifelong atheists, just strict, I don't believe, or Satan worshipers even, on their deathbed going, "Oh, I see the darkness. What have I done? What a horrible mistake I've made." How scary is that? How scary is that to be that prideful and audacious to go through your entire life and pretend like none of this is real, and then when it comes down to the moment of your death, you get to see that it was all real and it's going to happen. You're going to wind up for eternity on one side or the other. That's it. So, it's a good idea to make a choice. But for right now, what I'm seeing is Chris, Lisa Boyce, all of these preppers that are on top of this news, and then little children just out of nowhere, just having these, and it's not like, I don't know if they overheard their parents. I guess one could argue, but I would uh, make the argument that they actually had the dream. They actually had the dream and they saw heaven. And so, with all of that going on, is that the waves and the seas roaring, or is it there's going to be a huge earthquake and that causes the waves and the seas to roar? We read in the Bible where there was this great earthquake, and it gets a bit confusing, and God does this on purpose. He wants you to study it out and try to figure it out. He's not just going to hand you the answers. You're going to have to want to figure it out. But he discusses this when Jesus rose, many of the bodies of the saints rose with him, but he combines it all together. And it almost appears, unless you read very carefully, that these bodies of these saints rose when Jesus died on the cross, but they didn't. They rose when he rose. But when did that earthquake happen? I think it happened 3 days before. I think that earthquake happened 3 days prior. So, is there a 3 day warning? Saul on the road to Damascus before he was named Paul was blinded for 3 days. There's all of this 3 day warning stuff. I haven't seen three day warning quite yet. Nothing that, I mean, we're seeing warnings every day, but nothing like Damascus. That would be that I would run to YouTube to make a video if that had occurred, and I would say, okay, from this moment now, and personally, I would count 84 hours, the amount of time Jesus was in the grave. I would count 84 hours. Um, 84 just pops up everywhere in relation to that. So, but let the children speak. If you've heard, and Chris puts this out there, and I would really love to see Chris report on this. If you've heard or you know of a child that has had a rapture dream, because I ask my grandson all the time, he's 8, and I'm like, so any dreams last night? He's just, nope, nothing. But go into his, I don't, into his YouTube. I think I don't know if he has I don't know if he has a web page or not, but go in there and put in that testimony of what that child dreamt. And he'll put it together, and I believe, or even End Times Dreams of Vision, he does the same thing, Bob Barber. So listen to the children. Listen to the children. Maybe God is sending a message to the children. So anyway, let me get back into this. All right, there will not be a rapture on the full moon. All right, so as you know, I had the thought that not only did the Jubilee year begin in 2023 on September the what is it? September the 25th, because God said that you will blow the trumpet on the 10th day. So September 15th being Tishri 1, the seventh month of the year, you would move it 10 days for a Jubilee year. And then when it passed, I left it at that. But then I got something came over me. Something told me, hey, take a look at those 10 days. And I did. And so this is what I came up with. Back here on first Pentecost, the day Pentecost fully came, I said June 5th. Okay, it's June 16th. And June 16th is when Noah sees the tops of the mountains. I thought, okay, now that's a good rapture date. And now I think God's land down under is saying those 7 days that Noah had to sit in the ark waiting. It was actually 8. He went in on, let's for example, on a Sunday, and the flood began on a Sunday. So it was 7 days, 8 days inclusive. So I thought, okay, that could be June 23rd, 24th. So we're not quite there yet. That's a possibility. And then, of course, the full moon, I believe, is tonight. And also, there's a moment in time where the sun breaks the 23.5 degree mark. He does that back on the 15th. And the crescendo, the center of it is today or tonight at some point. So there's a good reason to be looking at tonight. And so we do. We just keep watching. I wanted to show you this before you put too much faith in Google. Remember that they said Pentecost happened on May 19th. Observe on Sunday, June 3rd. Oh, so Pentecost on June 23rd. That's interesting. I didn't see that down there. Pentecost will be observed on Sunday, June 23rd on the Gregorian calendar. Orthodox Christians, they follow June 23rd. So that's interesting. I didn't see that part down there, June 23rd. But then you come over here and you have Shavuot happening on June 11th. And I was like, you can't have Pentecost on May the 19th and Shavuot on June the 11th because Jesus left before he sent the Holy Spirit. The debate now is, was it 3 days, 7 days, or 10 days, or even longer? Some people view that as 50 days. I don't know where they get that. The Bible says, in a few days, I will send the Comforter in a short period of time. And that, to me, that means, 3 to 7 days. I think it's 7. That's what I show on mine. So I wanted to point out why I don't think it's the full moon and hope that I'm completely wrong and that we will be raptured on the full moon. But here's why. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs. That's one thing. Signs is a thing. That's a one category thing. And for seasons and for days and for years, that's another category. That is time. That is time right there. Okay, that's when God started time on that day, on the fourth day, what we call Wednesday. That's when he started time. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven and give light upon the earth. And it was so. Whatever he created in that paragraph right there in verses 14 and 15, he finished. And it was so. Then he made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. The sun and the moon were created not for, according to this now, if we just read this, the sun and the moon were not created for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. Just based on what we're reading, but I'm going to clarify that in a moment here. So the sun and the moon were made after whatever it was that was made. that was made for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Whatever that was, I think it was the 12 constellations. The 12 constellations will set up for us signs, they will set up for us the seasons, and they will set up for us the days and years. Now, the return of the Son of Man, according to Luke 21, this is what I was talking about in the beginning. There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon, and there shall be signs and days and years and seasons. No, it just says signs. Those signs back here will be in the sun and the moon, but they are not what's devoid in this passage. Anything speaking to seasons, days, and what is it? Years. Seasons, days, and years. There's nothing in here about seasons, days, and years. I challenge anyone to go into the Bible and find me a passage that says the sun and moon are for seasons, days, and years. And why would God separate it? And it was so. It's the last thing it says in verse 15. And it was so. It's done. It's over. And it was so. Whatever that was, they were created for signs. So I would say it's 12 constellations were for signs. That would be, the Revelation 12 sign. That would be, uh, the Aquarius. We just now dawned into the age of Aquarius. And they would also be for seasons, for days, and for years. You can calculate the days and years, even with the precession of the sun. And knowing about that, you can calculate your seasons through that. But over here, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon. Again, the sun and the moon and the stars. Those are signs. We're going to see. We've seen the eclipse of the sun, the eclipse of the moon. We've seen the Revelation 12 sign. That's our sign. That's the biggest sign we've ever seen. I think most calculations should be done from that sign. I think the sign of the Revelation 12 sign that happened and Israel being invaded are the two of the biggest heavy hitters for the beginning of a date than anything else that we've seen in the last 2,000 years. I think that is where we're supposed to be doing our math from. All right. Again, not about the full moon, not about the sliver moon. The Feast of Trumpets, also known as Yom Teruah, will be celebrated on October the 3rd in 2024. I say Trumpets is always on September the 15th. It never changes. As a matter of fact, in 2023, it was on September the 15th. They are actually correct every 19 years. They are correct every 19 years. So here they are celebrating it. I think this is about 18 days after what I would call Feast of Trumpets. But we know one thing for certain, without ever a doubt or a question in our minds, that 10 days later will be the Day of Atonement. Always. And this year, in 2023, which we're still in this Jubilee year, we will be in this Jubilee year until September 15th of 2024. So about 3 more months. We are still in this Jubilee year of 23. That's why people are like, I think the years are off. 23 means something. 22 means something. That's why because it's like 20th century Fox. You call that, even though when they're 21st century they call it 20th century Fox, because you count the century that you're in, the entire century. You see what I'm saying? So same thing here. We're still in the 23 Jubilee. It's still 23. But one thing certain, 10 days after trumpets, so that means that Day of Atonement must land on October the 13th. Ooh, epic fail. They're saying that atonement will land on October the 11th, 8 days. We all know that it's 10, the 10 days of all. We all know about it. But what they're doing and why this continues to happen is because they're attempting to follow the sliver moon, the full moon. Oh, if it's the 15th, that just means it's the middle of the month, always. I, I don't understand. My brain doesn't function that way. The sun came up and I have to give it a date. The sun came up the next day and I have to give it a date. I can't just pretend like days disappeared or we're at it. My brain won't allow it. That's why I built the timeline, because this type of stuff I saw years ago and I said, somebody's got to know the truth. And more often than not, they will follow that moon, and it's 354 days a year. It's 10 days short. So this year, and they got this one right, October the 16th will fall 5 days after Jesus was born on the Feast of Tabernacles. But the Feast of Tabernacles happens on September the 30th. That's when Feast of Tabernacles always happens. It's on September the 30th. So I've just wanted to make a point that they're following the moon, but they're going against what the Bible teaches. The Bible very strict on how many days are in between these feasts, and they've gone completely against it. And the reason they have is because they'd rather follow the moon than the Bible. The Bible is abundantly clear on when these things have to happen. All right. This year, Cheshvan 17, the day of the flood, they say will happen on November the 18th. I say it's always on November the 1st, but they say it'll be November the 18th. We are 17 days apart. So I did the math because the Bible says that 150 days after the flood, the ark, the water begins to recede, and then 153 days after the flood, the ark rested on Mount Ararat, meaning reverse the curse. 150 days, it's solid, it's written in the Bible. If you follow the moon, it will never happen, ever. It will never land on the correct day. Let's see what they did. In 2025, Passover, which is the moment the water began to recede, 150 days after the flood began, will happen on April the 12th, April the 17th. They're 5 days off. You go against the word of God when you try to follow the moon, full moon, sliver moon, no moon, quarter moon. It will never work. Whatever calendar, just it's a simple litmus test when you're talking to somebody and they're saying, "Hey, this calendar was around forever." Okay, cool. When's the flood? Oh, it's on this day. When is the cross? Oh, it's on this day. Is it 150 days? No. Well, then your calendar doesn't work. It goes right up against what the Word of God says. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Can't create days. Only God can do that. So April the 17th. Here we have uh, November the 18th, which I show you, November the 18th to April the 17th is 150 days. Their Passover had better be on April the 17th if they say the flood was on November the 18th. But it's not. It's on April the 12th. All right. Now, Ross over at New News surmises that perhaps that Israel is marking that travail that she goes into. So Israel is in travail right now. They are going through it. We have to pray for Israel, concern ourselves with them. If you have the wherewithal to donate to them, there are several channels that you can donate to Israel. Israel is beloved of God. They are God's chosen people, and we pray that they make it through all this, and of course, ultimately for their accepting Jesus. So October the 7th. That's when they were invaded. 40 weeks later, this is Ross now, and came up with this idea, 280 days. That's how long the exact gestation period of a baby is. That's how long Jesus was in the womb. 40 weeks, 280 days, and that lands on July the 13th. July the 13th to, why would I do that? September I just wanted to show you 75 days later lands right after Day of Atonement. So it's very interesting that July 13th is 75 days away. Again, I wanted to show you this. They will tell you that the Sabbath is here with the moon cycles every 29 and a half days. So therefore the moon, when it's gone, is the head of the month. And when the moon is full, it's the middle of the month. And you don't have to count your days. You just know that it's the 1st and the 15th. And unfortunately, that will set you off each year by 10 days because there's 364 days in a year, not 354. If you do it this way, then you will have your Sabbath set up And again, we call Saturday Sabbath. It's just Saturday. I'm aware it's named after. It's the seventh day. There are seven. Uh, sorry, there are 52 seventh days in a 364 Enoch calendar timeline. 364 days divided by 12, because there are only 12 months. Don't anybody kid you into add in a month. It's not biblical. It's not written anywhere. That's just what they do because they will not align themselves back to the original calendar that they found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Uh, and so they will always, well, there's 13 months at, if you do if you do this, 4 Sabbaths and you'll 28 days. There's not 13 months. There's only 12. There's 12 months. 12 apostles, 12 months, 12 hours in a day, 12 hours at night. There's 12. 364 divided by 12. That's actually how many days are in a month. 30 days, 0.3333333 infinity. That's how many days are in an actual month. All right. 364 divided by 52 weeks is 7. You have 52 Sabbaths every single year. The Sabbath always, up until the Julian calendar from Julius Caesar, render under Caesar that which is Caesar, until he came up with a 365 day and a quarter day calendar, there were 364 days, and there were 24 hours in a day, not 23 hours and 56 minutes. They do that so that they can realign the earth with some place, with some star. I'm not quite sure why they do that, but there's actually 364. All right. This person, this is what breaks my heart. This is what breaks my heart. I went back to your old videos 11 months ago. There are people in the comments back then who thought it was going to happen. It was going to be the rapture wholeheartedly. I don't understand how someone can get it wrong so many times and keep going without disparity kicking in. Jesus just might come up on me like a thief in the night cause up on, I didn't understand, up on a down, an up and down roller coaster of emotions is unbearable. So here's my response to him. Always warn people it could be the next possible date. You're saved. What hope do the unsaved have if the saved doubt? Hang in there. Keep watching as though it could happen at any moment, and warn anyone that will listen that they might accept Christ. It's not about us. We are saved. It's about them. You're saved. Stop doubting. Stop. I don't even understand the doubt. Honestly, I've been at this for 5 years. I'm going to keep going at this and still continue to try to figure this out. It's not the full moon, but I'm still going to continue to try to figure this out. And I'm not going to stop. But I decided, I saw Brett from God's Land Down Under. He reads comments, and I thought, you know what? That is the finger on the pulse of the Christian or the elect community right there. It's a roller coaster ride. It's up and down. Excuse me. I want it to happen just as bad as anybody else does, but this is going to happen, and God is going to tell us, Amos 3:7, and it's going to be epic, and it's going to happen in an instant, and it's going to happen so fast. 1 second we'll be here, the next second we'll be in heaven, crying our eyes out because we suddenly appeared in heaven, and it was that quick. It will be that quick. It's going to be amazing on that day. But for right now, you are a bride of Christ. Buck up. What do they say? Something about buttercup and I don't even know. I don't even know the state. Somebody's gonna put it in the comments. Buck up, buttercup, or step up, buttercup. I don't remember the. Just toughen up. Toughen up. You've got a job to do. God told you you have a job to do, and your job is to go warn everybody. You know, that's your job. You're supposed to warn everybody. That's what I do. That's what you're to do. You're not supposed to say the rapture is going to happen on Wednesday. This guy on YouTube said it is. The numbers all line up. No, you're supposed to say Hey, if it does happen, are you going to heaven? Well, I don't know. Well, you better know. There's a cup offered to you. Take that cup and drink from it. That's what you do. So wish I could remember that phrase. Lighten up, buttercup. I don't know, step up, but I don't remember the phrase. So, but toughen up a little bit, you know? That's what I gotta say. Toughen up a little bit. You know, don't be like that. If you're a bride of Christ, you have a job to do. And this is a serious job. This is no joke. This is not a bunch of people running around. "Hey, I hope the rapture's tomorrow. This is gonna be great. I figured it out. Nobody else did." No, toughen up a little bit, you know? Get this message out there. We're out of time. Yeah, I've said that for 5 years now, and I meant it 5 years ago, and I mean it now. You can look around. Just go watch Chris over Global Rapture Watchers and watch Woman 65. The things are happening right now. Things are going on right now that are irreversible. They're not just going to stop. Like I think Chris said something. Oh, we're sorry. We're not going to bomb anybody. Let's just turn it all. No, they want this war. They want it really bad, and it's going to happen. When the bombs go down, they say we go up. I, I, I think we would have a different rapture sign than that, personally, but who knows? Maybe that is it. So, anyway, let me get back into the pictures. Step up, buttercup. I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember that phrase. Anyway, okay, so this is on my Discord. Hi, I was looking at Revelation 22. There's a new YouTube channel called Revelation 22. He's doing really good work. I love his channels, listening to all of his content. He's doing a good job. A lot of the people that I promote, yes, look at the moon. I will say it's not, but I will not tell you not to watch them. Please watch them. They might be right. They might be so right. We have different events happening on the same date. You know, doesn't matter. The message is clear. What's the message here? The date? That's not the message. The message is that Jesus is coming back, and people need to know that, and it's about to go down, and we need to warn people. And that's the message. That's always been my message. You don't have much time left. You don't want to spend an eternity in the wrong place. You don't want to go through tribulation. It's time to make a clear choice. There's not going to be anybody in hell going, "Oh, I didn't really have a clear choice. Nobody really, nobody really explained this to me. I'm sorry, but that's what we're doing. We're explaining to you what's about to go down." So anyway, Revelation 22:2. It is. It's not. It's Watchmen 22. I'm sorry, I said Revelation 22. Watchmen 22 is the one doing a lot of good YouTube visit. I said that wrong. It is the 260th chapter. Okay, hi. I was looking at Revelation 22 as well. It is the 260th chapter in the New Testament, and from Israel-Hamas war of October 7th, 2023 to June 22nd, 2024, there are 260 days. You see all the work these people are doing? They're trying to figure this all out. They're trying to put it all together. So there are a lot of high watch days coming up. 21st, today was 22nd, the 23rd, the 26th, what I see as being dates. The Neanderthals back in before the flood, they were Neanderthals. Sloped foreheads were about as bright as a candle. No way could they have ever put a stick in the ground and measured when January was, when February was. They could have never measured the time of day with a simple stick in the ground and drawing a circle. It's called a sundial. They have found these sundials. There's a 2,000-year-old sundial. Sundial's been around. There's a thing I'm hearing that I don't like. Adam was a lot smarter than us. If I could live, and remember, Adam was created with age. He was 26 and a half years old. Ironically, that is the year that Jesus began his ministry. He was 33 and a half years old when he was kicked out of the garden. 7 years. Ironically, Jesus was 33 and a half years old when He gave up the ghost on the cross. He replaced Adam. Adam was created with age. He was 26 and a half. He spent 7 years in the garden. He was kicked out at 33 and a half. Adam um, lived, so if he was created with age, he was created with intelligence. He was already speaking. He already named the animals. He was smart enough to name every animal on planet Earth. I mean, come on. The guy was a genius compared to us. We have been de-evolving since the creation. He lived 930 years plus his 26 years. He was the ripe old age of 956 and a half years old when he died. When he died, because he was 26, well, 33 and a half. I'm sorry, he was 30. Well, let me think. He was created he lived, okay, yeah, he was created. So I'm right, 956 and a half years old when he died. So I have a feeling that when your brain is pure, your body is pure and capable of living that long, that you're very intelligent. And so he absolutely knew by putting a stick in the ground what day was a day of equal parts. We're the children of light. There is only two dates that you will use daytime to figure them out. Every other one's at night. You look at the stars, you look at where the sun is in relationship to the stars, that's nighttime. You look at the moon, whether it's a sliver or it's full, nighttime. You stick a stick in the ground, any day there's sunshine, and look at the shadow, and it will tell you, you stationary, that plate right there that you're looking at, you make it stationary, and you can time it in, and you will know what day is a day of equal parts. The shadow will cast equal on both sides. You will know what day is the shortest day of the year. That's the day that the shadow will be the longest. The day that is the longest day of the year, that day the shadow will be the shortest from your starting point. So, yeah, they definitely weren't Neanderthals back then. We have been de-evolving since them. All right. Now, I showed you earlier, July 12th, 13th is 40 weeks. But those 21 days that the Prince of Persia held up lands today. Actually, I did it from the 12th by mistake. It's July 13th. Let me go back there and look at that. Make sure. Where was that at? Oh, it's so far back. Oh, it's so far away. July 13th. I made a mistake from that. So we come back here. Where are we at? Oh, it's so far. Okay, 21 days, July 12th. If you count back that from July 13th, which is the 40 weeks exactly, you would land on June 22nd. So there's another little bit of a confirmation for June the 22nd. All right, let's see here. This is what I was showing you. June 21st is, in fact, the longest day of the year at some point. It reaches the 23.5 degree mark on June 15th. The very longest day is June 21st, which is today, and the point where it leaves the 23.5 degree mark is June 30th. So it spends 15 days inclusive, 14 days exclusive in that period of time. From June 26th to September the 24th. Why do I have June the 26th now? Yeah, I took these pictures. It's been a week since I've been on here. I'm not. Oh, 91 days. Oh, that's the season. Why June? September the 15th is the start of the other season. That's weird. I don't know why I would do that. I would back up. I should have. Well, if I backed up 10 days, it's June the 16th. Oh, I don't know. I just did some math, I guess. All right. The fifth seal martyrs, Revelation 6. And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season. Oh, that's a little season. Oh, I see why I did that. So that's a season. A season is 91 days, but the season actually ends on September the 15th on the Feast of Trumpets. So that would classify as a little season because that season, remember, has been pushed back 10 days. So from June 16th, we pushed it back to June 16th being Pentecost. We pushed it back 10 days. sorry, June 5th being Pentecost. We push it back 10 days to June 15th. And then um, from this date here as well, we push it 10 days. So what's happened is that this last season will be a little season. It will not be as large as all seasons are 91 days. They're 90 days plus a 1 day transfer over to the next season. Each one's 91 days, 364 days a year. And so if you back that up to September the 15th, that would actually be 10 days shorter, 81 days in that season. My robes given to them has said unto them that they should rest. Didn't I just read that? This seal martyrs. Okay. I just wanted to show you that on the 24th, 21st, you can see on the 20th, you can see it's plus 0.02. And then on the 22nd, it's negative 0.02. Right smack in the center of it is the 21st. Now, I don't use the solstice, although it is a daytime event, and it could be looked at as far as the head of the year, possibly because, again, did they know when the sun crossed over the equator, or did they know more what day was the day of equal parts by putting a stick in the ground and drawing a circle? Yeah, to me, they would know more. Those Neanderthals back there. To me, they would know more of the fact that they put a stick in the ground, you know. So anyway, that's my video. Rapture's not happening on the full moon. The moon does not give us our our dates. It is a sign. It's used for signs. The sun is used for signs, and then for our seasons and our days and our years, that is given to us by whatever it was He created, and it was so. So, Repo Man 64. Go to a quiet place. We're out of time. Literally, they. I was just listening to I forget who, one of the preppers, one of the three preppers that I listened to. Probably New York prepper, I think it was actually. I was listening to him, and he said that some chatter that goes off every minute in Russia about their nuclear capabilities or doing something nuclear, it's not on right now. And he said it's been on for the past 50 years, and suddenly now it's off. So literally, this could happen at any moment, and we could be standing in front of Jesus. And the only thing I want you to know, outside of any other studies that I do, or sun, moon, slivers, none of it matters. The only thing that really ultimately matters is where are you going to go? Where are you going to go when you die, or where are you going to go when the rapture occurs? Are you going to go up to heaven, or be left behind? And again, it's not about a work. It's not. It's complete and utter trust in Jesus and Jesus alone. That's it. I don't care what great things you've done. You're not a shoe-in. There's only one way there, and that's through Jesus. So like, comment, share, and subscribe. I think this video is a little bit more tough love. I really do. I'm not typically like that, but I really am getting this anxious feeling that we don't have much more time. And the little games that people are playing with this stuff and the joking around, maybe it's just joking, but another part of me says, I don't think it's joking, and I don't think it's a time to joke. I'm a jokester. I like playing around and goofing off all the time, but not with this subject. This is too scary. This is all eternity. So please take this seriously, you know, and accept the Lord. This is it. This is it. People are like, you don't accept the Lord into your heart, into your brain. You don't say it. I'm just like, you're semantics, you know. What is in your heart? Are you accepting the Lord or not? There's no vehicle, you know, to do this by. It's simply, there's no perfect words to say. Oh, I said it perfectly. So, yeah, no, it's not about us. It's all about Jesus, and it's all about believing on what He did, and that He did in fact cover you. And we're out of time. There is no more time. And this is serious, and that's why, you know, that's why this is so important that you get it done. So, all right, Repo Man 64. We'll chat with you again later.